Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be continuing with our Gladiator, which we started with episode 1, where we only loot from players who we've killed. No mobs, no chests, nothing. So we ended up actually taking a 1v1 versus Barb, and quickly following it up with 1v1 versus Rogue. So after winning those last episode, we ended up with some decent loot in terms of gold and just items in general after the first 2 dungeon runs. So we're gonna launch back into another one with basically a set of boots and some pots and see how well we do. In the pre-game lobby, we actually find a guy here using dual wield as well with the hatchet, which can be a lot of fun. I just don't recommend running Swift with anything light. So jumping into this one, we get probably one of my favorite spawns. You basically have to deal with 2 goblins one at a time, which, if you're careful, isn't too difficult. So you can deal with these guys. They do get a little timid once you smack them a couple times with the sword, and they'll distance themselves just a little bit outside your reach to be annoying. But it's very likely that there's a player behind that door. We're gonna try to get an early kill and get this one rolling. We hear the faint cry of a dead goblin or dying goblin behind that door, so there's definitely a player there. He goes a little quiet too, so he must have heard us killing the ones outside here. In a situation like this, all you hope for is that the guy behind the door isn't the most geared guy in the lobby. Which, yeah, can and does happen very often. So he seems to be oblivious that we're here. He's kind of moving around, kind of forgot. Or maybe he didn't hear us to begin with. So we're going to see if we can get him to aggro some mobs and then push when he least expects it. Yeah, there we go. He's fighting some mobs now, so it's kind of our chance to go. He knows this as well, so he starts to back up. We close him in there, hoping he takes a bit more damage, and it sounds like he just took another arrow. I hate fighting those archers just as much as he probably does. We're going to toy with him here a bit with this door, just to kind of get him a little bit distracted. Although we don't want the goblins to actually kill him, because we want to be the ones to get that final blow and be able to loot his body. Seems like he's just sitting in the corner. We hear him finish off a potion, so we're going to push this while he's low. Somehow catch him in the darkness and end up with another kill. We actually get a lot of useful stuff here. Gloves, boots, some meds. A few more items that we'll be able to sell, because I don't think they're all starter items. So thankfully that goblin had him pretty much cornered, and then we were just able to get the final few hits in. As minor as that dagger seems, it'll be extremely useful when we're dual wielding, so we don't have to use torch the whole time. Basically announcing ourselves around every corner. Now we're kind of in a familiar spot, as we were here just the run before where we had a lot of success. Maybe it'll continue. We hear some steps. We can't tell if they're above or below. Sounds like they're moving away, which gives us maybe a chance to get up into this room. Now we're hearing some steps to the left of us as well. We don't really have a whole lot of damage output, so we have to pick our fights extremely carefully. Kind of just take our time here because we're still hearing steps. Not sure if they're below us. I think they're in that room just underneath us with pots and stuff. Through that little entryway. So we're going to need to get moving and clear some mobs, or else Stone's going to kind of screw us. We take some really stupid damage there. Just not stepping back quite enough, which is going to cost us a lot of meds. Thankfully that one actually turns around, because he had us in a bad spot as well. And really I should have been clearing these mobs earlier and just ignored the footsteps. Would have given me a bit more time to make it through here and not be so frantic. We attempt to hit some of these spiders, and yeah, we fail miserably the first 2 or 3 attempts. Things get a little smoother after. And then we get pushed into the spike as we jump, and the spider launches us into it. And then we get attacked by the spider repeatedly and take a whole bunch more damage that was super unnecessary. My anger for missing those 3 or 4 easy shots led to basically pure destruction by some PvE and a well-placed trap. So now we're forced to do the whole resting thing, which slows us down even more. And then we're forced to take a quick rest, or basically leave it early because of the zone. So a lot of errors, a lot of really bad decisions at those moments cost us all the meds we just gained. And now we put ourselves in a situation where basically a judgment could almost end our entire run, or any other class with a decent weapon. Which is why, if you're attempting to do any of these types of challenges, 90% of it is just being super patient, which I tried to do there. I just messed up some of the PvE aspects of the game. We're gonna clear this guy to get him out of the way in case we need to run for a portal. And then if someone does arrive, we're not fighting a mob and a player. I'm fully expecting a few more players to be alive here. It doesn't look like very many have died. The other thing about clearing mobs when you're running a kind of series like this, it also adds to your level count. So we're trying to get to level 5. As well as make it out with some decent gear. I would be more than happy to make it out with the stuff I have right now. Even though it could have been much, much better if we had been able to save some of those meds. This place a little darker. I want to get tagged by an arrow or something just because they can see us so much easier. We hear a guy resting right beside us, and this means we're going to be fighting. Once again, we tag him in the darkness. He's just outreaching us with his speed. As he attempts to close the door, we end up finishing him off. Let's hope this guy is full of loot. We hear more steps, so we kind of have to be quick here. We got a nice short sword of that. Nice arming sword, actually, sorry. That's going to be very, very beneficial for this setup. Blue shoes, decent pants, and now we're into the battle of trying to manage your inventory quickly while hearing endless players around you and mobs. I'm not quite sure, but I'm really nervous all the time with that hole in the ground because I always feel like a rogue could somehow find a way up it with his jump ability. And if you're here looting with your back to that, it just scares the crap out of me. So we got a decent little inventory right now. 2 more kills in this game, and if we could escape, we'll be doing quite well and have some decent gear to run for a few more. So it is actually a fighter class, I think, so we should be fine from the sneaky double jumping rogues. This guy's in a really bad spot though. He's got Skeleton Wizard and a whole host of other mobs down there. Now we just wait for a portal. Which, you know, Portal Lottery is not a game I like playing. And if you're in this situation, it's always really challenging because you could get a portal up top, or it could spawn below for him. Thankfully, we do have the stairs close by in case we need to do a last-minute ditch. Fortunately, this time we did end up winning the Portal Lottery, which is Goblin Caves. So this will end up being another pretty successful run, even with a lot of kind of silly mistakes around. Basically 30 seconds of gameplay can almost cost you an entire run. Quickly checking out the last guy left, see if he wins the Portal Lottery. And the answer is no, he doesn't. Stuck down below fighting endless mobs while the zone closing around you with a full inventory of loot is probably one of the most frustrating things about Goblin Caves, but also makes every escape just a little bit sweeter. So we've actually made it to level 2 on this guy. We've picked up a couple more kills, which brings us up to 6 kills. And we get a whole bunch of kind of odds and ends, which should help us very much on our way to maybe gaining a little bit more money next run with this arming sword, and then progressing further. And next game, we end up fighting to the death with a barbarian to see who basically makes it out with all their loot. Once again, thank you all for watching and supporting the channel. and I hope to be back in the dungeon someday soon.